Charles May, known as Charlie, was born in Dunedin in 1889. His parents were both British, and he moved back there in early 1900, settling in London. After leaving school, Charlie worked with his father as a salesman for an engineering company. In 1911, he joined the Territorial Army as a part-time soldier. Charlie loved writing and acted as a freelance journalist for the Manchester Evening News. He also wrote short stories and had several of them published. In 1912, he married his sweetheart, Bessie Hull, and soon afterwards they moved to the Manchester area. They were blessed with a daughter in July 1914. Charlie enlisted in the army in January 1915. As a temporary captain, he commanded A Company of the 22nd Battalion of the Manchester Regiment. After a period of training, the unit sailed to France on 9 November 1915. They were deployed to the area near Mametz in Picardy and settled into the routine of life in the line. During the spring, Charlie was given command of B Company. When his duties permitted, he continued to write stories, more of which were published. He also kept a diary. An entry dedicated to his wife, written in late June 1916, exemplifies the man and his generation.
My darling, au revoir. It may well be that you will only have to read these lines as ones of passing interest. On the other hand, they may well be my last message to you. If they are, know through all your life that I loved you and baby with all my heart and soul. That you two sweet things were just all the world to me. I pray God I may do my duty, for I know, whatever that may entail, you would not have it otherwise.
The 22nd Manchesters were to take part in the Battle of the Somme. At 5:45 a.m. on 1 July 1916, as they waited to attack, Charlie made another entry in his diary.
We marched up last night, the most exciting march imaginable. Guns all round us crashed and roared till sometimes it was quite impossible to hear oneself speak. It was, however, a fine sight, and one realised from it what gunpowder really means. Fritz, of course, strafed back in reply, causing us some uneasiness and a few casualties before we reached the line. The night passed easily, and with a few more casualties. The Hun puts a barrage on us every now and then, and generally claims 1 or 2 victims. It is a glorious morning, and is now broad daylight. We go over in 2 hours' time. It seems a long time to wait, and I think whatever happens we shall all feel relieved once the line is launched. No Man's Land is a tangled dump. Unless one could see it, one cannot imagine what a terrible state of disorder it is in. Our gunnery has worked that and his frontline trenches all night.
He added ominously,
But we do not yet seem to have stopped his machine guns. These are popping off all along our parapet as I write. I trust they will not claim too many of our lads before the day is over.
The attack on this section of the front was a success, and Mametz was captured, but at a heavy cost. Of the 800 men in the battalion who took part in the assault, 470 had become casualties by the end of the day. One of those casualties was Charlie May. He had led his men across no man's land and into the German positions, but was mortally wounded by an exploding German shell and died 3 hours later of his injuries. The Manchester Guardian newspaper reported, though mortally wounded, he gallantly continued to give orders and encourage his men to the last. Captain Charles Campbell May is buried in Dantzig Alley British Cemetery near Albert in France. He was 27 years old.